This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, Disney announces the live-action Mulan movie will bypass cinemas and be released only on Disney Plus for an additional $30.
What?
Will this gamble pay off during the pandemic? Is this a death blow to theaters? Plus, new trailers for lots of great streaming movies and TV shows like Project Power on Netflix and The Boys Season 2 on Amazon, a listener-sponsored movie review of the 1987 cult classic The Lost Boys, and a whole bunch more. All in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Thursday, August 6th, 2020.
Yo, 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 this is Rob Liefeld, creator of Deadpool, Cable, X-Force, Domino. You are listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. You want the most up-to-date comic book movie and TV news? You found it. Fun? You bet. Puppets? With substance abuse issues? Oddly, yes. Only here on the Jock and Nerd podcast. Does it get any better than this? I don't think so. Listen, Rob Liefeld, creator of all the stuff you love, saying to you, listen to the Jock and Nerd podcast. So sexy, so awesome. I never miss it. And it's my favorite thing in forever. It's spectacular. It's awesome. I love it. Jock and Nerd.
Check. Check one. All right. This is really fans out there. Let's give it up. Jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. Jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah. Jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. Oh yeah. Jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert. Give it up one time.
Oh, yeah. What's up, listener? Hello, and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we deliver comic book and superhero, TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose.
Boing.
Jock and Nerd. Boing. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
And joining us is the third missing frog brother who ran off to hunt some vampires and got lost. Never came back. It's Rug Frog, or you can just call him Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
I'm a cop, you idiot.
It's not a tumor. Why
I'm
are you
Detective John Kibble. I'm just doing this in the honor of Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's a hard thing to say, honor of Arnold.
Honor of Arnold.
Because he's getting, kindergarten cops getting canceled.
Yeah, it's just in one state. Did you see that story? It's in one place. They did
It's over policing.
But traumatic
He's policing the
police
school.
in schools. And
He's undercover trying to protect a kid.
That
Come on, guy.
movie is hilarious.
It's
Rugs,
one of the best movies ever.
Rugs, are you soggy? You survived this, what is it? Isaiah? Tropical storm? I don't know how you say it. I see you.
Isaiah.
Are you still soggy, sopping wet?
Yeah, it was kind of a problem. We lost power.
You did lose power. That's
There's
crazy.
trees down.
Oh, shit.
My basement is moldier than normal. I got fungi.
The dumpster you used to live in floated away is what I heard.
Well, I put a sail on it and went to Cabo.
There you go.
Anyway.
Look out for that dumpster. You guys remember how I started the whole thing about be a superhero, wear a mask, save the world, buy Jock and Nerd masks, which you can get at our shop, jockandnerd.com/shop. Well, the CW just put out a series of posters. They're these COVID-19 PSA superhero posters showing the Flash and Stargirl and Supergirl and Black Lightning wearing masks. Not a bad Photoshop job,
But they're wearing
I'll
like
say.
the stupid surgical mask. It doesn't really do much. It should have been N95s.
Well, the M95s are a lot better. But the one of Superman, I thought this was funny because this picture of Superman with a mask on, there's no way you'd know that this is Clark Kent, you know?
What?
Without it, you're like, Clark, what are you doing? Why are you dressed up as Superman? I don't understand. He should have Superman been wearing a mask this whole time anyways?
Yeah, probably. I mean, that's always been the kind of the running thing is he just puts on glasses and no one recognizes him.
You should have worn like an open mouth mask like Batman does.
Yeah, just the top. Yeah, but that's the
Like
Flash
a chin
has.
mask.
That's not going to help you block the Rona. The point is, get a Jock and Nerd mask. Visit our shop. We'll be helping save the world. And, just like Superman.
Right.
Real heroes wear masks.
I mean, you can't really say much. I mean, wearing a mask, he's doing the right thing, and I guess
We have to put them in ads now.
I'm surprised, but I'm surprised more people.
Should we just have like everything with masks?
I'm surprised Marvel hasn't done something like this. Like, show us. They should be having Spider-Man everywhere. He's already wearing a mask. Just use him to get the message to the youngsters.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
there's going to be an ad with like Superman washing his hands
with super fast speed.
Yeah.
Well, wash your hands, wear a mask, wear a Jock and Nerd mask. They are a lot of fun. All right. We got a lot of crazy shit to talk about. Let's get to it.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
So huge news this week. I think it's pretty big. Coronavirus pandemic continues to shake up the movie industry in profound and possibly long-lasting ways. Here's what happened. A recent earnings call for Disney. Bob Chapek was the new CEO over at Disney, not Bob Iger. Bob Chapek, first of all, had to break the news to the stockholders that they lost about $3.5 billion this past quarter.
Oh, shit.
Right? Because the fucking parks aren't open. There's no movie. So
that's a kick to the nuts.
Yeah, that's a lot of money for Disney to be losing and have to be responsible for. How are they going to make some money? Well, Bob Chapek also announced Mulan. That is a $200 million huge tentpole live-action adaptation of the cartoon that has had 3 release dates, will be releasing on Disney Plus on September 4th.
Oh, shit.
At a premium price of $29.99.
Oh, shit.
It's even crazier. First of all, guys, when you saw this comment, so let me clarify. You may think this is a rental. It's not. You have to pay for Disney Plus, which is like $7 a month. Then you got to pay another $30, and then you will have access to Mulan for as long as you are subscribed.
Oh, that's cool.
To Disney Plus. So
yeah.
So you're buying the movie, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, you're buying the movie. When I first saw $30, I go, that's crazy talk. We've already been saying $20 is a lot. Then I thought about it some more. So Mulan's been pushed back, a few times
3
now?
times.
3 times.
Maybe 4 times.
There's really you really have no idea when this movie's going to come out. I'm actually almost kind of concerned that the whole Marvel universe is just not going to happen anymore.
It might be
not happen the way we thought it would.
It might be derailed.
So there's no end in sight in this. They have to make money with this. You can't keep just pushing this back because the hype for this is just going to go away.
They've been marketing this movie for the past 5 months.
Right. So you do $30.
Yeah.
That's actually not terrible. It's think about this. When you go to see a movie, a movie like Mulan, you're unless you just really like Mulan, you're probably going with your kids.
Yeah.
So that you're probably buying 3, 4, or 5 tickets. That right there is going to be $50, $60 plus popcorn or whatever. So I actually think $30 buying the movie one time and being able to watch it as many times as you want with their family isn't that bad.
Even if you're going a one-timer, let's say I go to a movie theater, $15 for a ticket, $12 for a ticket, and then I buy the digital copy. What is it like? Usually $20.
Yeah, on sale.
Yeah, you're getting a $5 savings.
Yeah.
So
and Disney has to make some. I've been saying this for a while. On Disney Plus is add on us. I was saying this with New Mutants. Just add on a feature to buy the movie and watch it through Disney Plus.
So this is crazy because they're pretty much just making shit up like everyone is trying to adjust. This is another new streaming model. It's something that's never been tried before, is premium on top of the subscription. Let me add.
Well, actually, let me interject.
Yeah.
They've already been kind of doing this with a different Disney property.
Oh.
It's called ESPN Plus. ESPN Plus is $4 or $5 a month, but if you want the UFC pay-per-views, you got to pay an additional $60.
It's similar to but that pay-per-view you only can watch once.
You only get it for I think 24 hours.
Oh, really? So that is a rental of the pay-per-view.
So, but they've been doing this on their other subscription model.
So this is even a modification of that, is where you're paying premium, but you get to keep the movie. Because remember, they just put out Hamilton, which I think got them a bunch of subscribers. But people were like, I could sign up and watch Hamilton right now for like $7 a month. That's fucking fantastic. Do you think if someone doesn't have Disney Plus, they're going to subscribe and then drop another $30 because of Mulan?
Maybe. So it's if they subscribe for 1 month, you can do a 1 month.
Now, I wonder if they're going to do
$37.
If they do a thing where they if they were smart, there'd be a thing where like you have to lock in like 6 months to be able to get this, so that they don't.
Yeah.
But so this is huge on so many levels. First of all, Disney can retain all the money from this because not only they own the movie, they own the delivery platform. They don't have to share anything with theaters. That's a huge thing over there.
They just have to pay for whatever the bandwidth is on streaming.
And some marketing. But unlike other VOD releases we've seen, like it's not on an open platform. That's crazy. So Disney has already reached their 5-year global subscribers goal. They were anticipating that by 20 to 24, they would have between 60 million and 90 million subscribers. They have 60.5 million subscribers.
Oh, shit.
Just what has it been? Like 9 months since this fucking thing has launched? Not even. So can they make money on this? So for $30, if 10 million of those 60 million subscribers pay for this, that's 300 million. I think the movie is 200 million. They got to make 400 million just to break even. But this movie, had it come on the theaters, would have probably made like 800 million, maybe $1 billion.
I think it's going to make more money than you think, because think about it. If you're in the hole for Disney, you're a mark, right? You're a Disney mark. And Mulan is like a huge movie that's going to come out. I'm going to say half the people that are in. So I'm going to say 60 million subscribers?
60 million subscribers.
I'm going to say 30 million are going to pay for this.
I think the job, you kind of hit on it a little bit, Imran, is they just have to be able, they need a good marketing push to their current subscribers to let them know, hey, Mulan is here.
So what's funny about that is this is coming out in less than a month. There is no marketing for this. All we have to go on is what Bob Chapek said in the earnings call. If you look at their Twitter, if you look at any of their websites, it doesn't say this anywhere.
But you don't really need to. You don't really need to get the word out as much on something you could just click on it. You're
saying you just drop it and then people
no. I mean, I think you do a push the week before.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah,
I don't think a month out
because it's not like you're like, well, I gotta get a sitter. No, you don't have to worry. You don't have to organize around it. You know, you could just be like, I guess I'm watching this tonight.
I mean, how much lead up to that point? And it's a little different, but I don't feel like Hamilton had a ton of lead up.
No,
either.
I just
and it just kind of happened, and then everyone was talking about it.
And you kind of enjoy when these things just kind of drop. It creates a buzz. It creates a whole event kind of situation. I just think this is crazy because if this is
this is crazy. This is crazy.
It is totally
Crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Because first of all, Mulan will probably come out for free within the subscription on Disney Plus in a few months anyways, right? So now they got to bet on, are people going to pay for this right away, or will they just wait?
People are so desperate for new good shit. I think that they'll pay.
So you think it's a good bet that they're doing this with Mulan? The movie looks amazing.
You're talking about pedigree. You're talking about, mainstream movie theater quality, A+ quality filmmaking and stuff and they're using big budgets and shit. So yeah, people might want to go for that premium feel, after watching TV type shit for the past, however many months. So I think it's a good idea. And I think, think about The Boys.
Yeah.
Right? The Boys is not even a movie. It's just a series, but they've been plugging that thing for what, like a couple of weeks now? 3 weeks?
There's another new trailer we're going to talk about.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's building hype, but I mean,
But you're not paying $30 extra for that.
But I'm just saying, the first 2 trailers would have got me in.
Yeah,
as far as notoriety and just knowing that it's on. Now I'm like, when is it going to be on? Still not on yet? I feel like maybe 3 weeks is more than enough. So
I feel like the consensus seems to be people would not pay $30 for Mulan. I think it's interesting. Like Black Widow, hell yeah, I would pay $30 for that right away.
But that's you. But I think the people who own Disney also own it because they love Disney movies.
Yeah, I would say there is a gigantic fan base that is very into, even though these remakes have been shitty, very into Disney and very into the remakes of these classic films. So I think Mulan is another one that could be could do very well for them, even under these circumstances.
I mean, I'll watch that shit.
Will you pay $30 extra? Are we paying $30 extra when it comes out?
I haven't actually ever seen the original Mulan.
Oh, you haven't? I seen it
once. No, I've seen it. I have seen it, but I don't really remember.
Me neither. It was a long time ago. But this one, you're talking about the
supposedly this one's good.
Yeah,
it looks good.
It looks epic, and it looks like China.
And they took out a lot of the cheesier aspects, I think, with that dragon friend or whatever.
But that was Eddie Murphy. He was so great. And there's no song, so there's no singing. It's straight drama. And like this movie would have played huge in China. And so that's where they were going to make a lot. They would have made, a couple $100 million international.
Hurts, I guess.
So I'll tell you who's really upset at this are movie theater owners. If this is successful and it causes them to release New Mutants and Black Widow, and they're like I said, they're keeping all the profit. They don't have to split any money with distributors. Distributors and theaters are they're freaking out.
I think it's all about the long game, right? So basically, you reap what you sow in this situation. You dick over the movie companies when all of this shit clears up and they're still around. Then they're going to have to probably pay the piper. Then they're probably
going to play ball still.
Yeah, they're going to fucking fuck them over big time. These guys, because they fucked them over when they needed them. So they're probably going to, but if Disney's playing the long game, it's already planning on making its own theaters and fucking subverting these guys.
Yes, which you've mentioned before.
I think that they could do whatever the fuck they want. It's all about if they have their shit together, planning for the future. If they're looking down the line saying, okay, AMC, blah, 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 Regal Cinemas, we're fucking them over big time, and they're going to, when the time comes, they're going to have to pay a premium. I guarantee it. So unless they have something else up their sleeve, which I think they do.
Well, AMC, the AMC Universal 17-day window thing that we talked about last week, a lot of movie theaters weren't happy about that. So a lot of these theaters are wondering if this is a death blow. Did they just lose Disney as a provider? Here's a quote from a disgruntled cinema owner. He goes, "They don't need exhibition partners anymore. Why would you share your profitability with an outside company? Think about it. If 10% of their subscribers buy into Mulan, that's $181 million Disney makes. If 50% of the subscribers rent Mulan, that's $906 million.
Oh, shit.
That's money that Disney gets to keep all on their own." And then this sound right here. That was a disgruntled French cinema owner destroying the Mulan sign and stomping all over it with a bat in his theater.
Oh, shit.
That's how mad he was because they yanked it. And this could be like a huge permanent change if this thing goes really well,
Yeah, I think I can see why movie theaters would be upset. I also, if you're a big studio chain, first off, why would you want to share your profitability, as that guy said? Also, but just by delaying these movies indefinitely, that's just dead money floating around. Yeah. So they're not making any money. There isn't a good answer for this. And unfortunately, when things change in terms of COVID and how it's restructuring all sorts of businesses have to adapt and evolve. And unfortunately, it seems like movie theaters might get left in the dust, which sucks. But every company has to do what's best for its own partners and its own
pivot
profits.
And you're right.
Yeah.
This is
you can't delay things inevitably and hope that one day movie theaters will open up the way they used to be opened up. Like, who knows when this vaccine is going to come? Yeah. Who knows how well it's going to work? Who knows what capacity things are going to be open at? Like, you can't just wait forever. You're sitting around with a property that's worth, they probably spent $200 to $400 million on, and that's just sitting there.
And this is
it's burning a hole in their pocket.
Realistically, the only way they're going to make money off it. But when, like him announcing it here, it kind of nobody saw this coming. This is something that
is kind of out left field.
Many people were like, just months ago, this would have seemed impossible. Like, there's no way they would put out their big fucking tentpole movie on a streaming service. But here we are. Here.
Black Widow's next. If
I
this
hope
does
it
well.
is. And New Mutants, fucking, what are you doing? August 28th. That's not coming out. Maybe more people will crack and follow. Meanwhile, Bill and Ted Face the Music has moved up its date to August 28th. You can rent it at home and watch it. I'm excited for that. Yet Tenet is still trying to be the movie. They put out a lot of spots saying, this is going to be an immersive experience, the best theater experience. It really looks like the movie that is full use of a movie theater experience. I read an interesting fact about the amount of visual effects shots. Avengers Endgame had like 2,000 visual effects shots. Apparently, Tenet has less than 300 VFX shots.
Oh, shit.
Which is like a rom-com. So a lot of that shit we're seeing, it's all practical in-camera effects, which is wild.
Let me just get back real quick to Black Widow. I know you just were jacking off to the amount of VFX, non-VFX shots in Tenet. I don't know why.
Because look
nothing
at
to
it.
do with movie release,
No,
but all right. If Mulan does well, which I think it will,
Yeah.
Black Widow's released date is November 6, 2020. There's no chance that they're going to make November 6, 2020, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's the next. They're going to put that out Disney Plus.
I mean, and then on the other side, Warner Brothers.
Because they have to keep Marvel going.
You got Wonder Woman. You got all the Warner Brothers. They got to keep Marvel going. The TV shows are delayed. Also, they had not finished production, so this would be the only.
Let
Marvel
me ask
thing.
you about the Domino's effect,
Yeah,
not the pizza.
pizza's great.
That's the first
You
one I
can
thought
follow
of.
the
All right,
tracker online.
This makes shitloads of money. Like we're talking like it makes like I'm gonna say $600 million,
Okay, that's not bad.
and they get to keep it all.
Yeah.
Does WB, does all these other companies decide to follow suit and go, oh fuck, we're gonna do the same thing?
Absolutely. WB will go to their new subscribe. They will look at HBO Max and go, how do we boost more subscribers? We already have Justice League coming out. Let's throw some of our movies in there.
But will it be this model of subscription plus premium extra? Yeah.
Yes, you're not. There's no way you can make your money back just by throwing it on
No,
for free.
no.
Well, relatively free.
Right. You'd have to.
They're gonna
You
do
don't
the- they're
have
gonna
to
do the-
buy it. You could just wait like everybody else. Or
You could just wait for a few months too until they.
I don't think these giants will just release their thing for free a few weeks later. I think you're gonna have to wait months.
Yeah. No, it'll be months.
They're gonna make you
I
wait
mean,
a while.
I think that the price premium is actually low. I think that the $30 is not enough. I think that what would be actually beneficial to the movie companies, like the theaters, is if they put like a high premium, like let's say like $40-$50 on these movies. And that way less people will do it. And then there'll still be people to go see it in the theater. They'll say, fuck it, I'm waiting for it at the theater. And just do that. But I don't know.
Apparently, Chapek also, he said that another thing he said is this is a one-off experiment, right? So maybe he's just saying that. I don't know. We should believe him, but he just said this is a one-off. Clearly, they're making stuff up as they go along. But apparently, they also discussed this with the Theater Association previously, like last week. So I don't know if the theater people were okay or they're getting a cut, or I don't know what the agreement was. But he did kind of talk to them before announcing this, so that's also interesting.
I don't get the sense really that they're making it up as they go along.
No.
I think this is a planned test, and I think it's a test it's a test, but I think it's a test that they know they're gonna do well in.
It like Thanos was an inevitability that something like this was going to happen, and this is like the first big one. So, what do you guys think? Would you be interested in watching Mulan right away here for the show? We pay for it, we review it.
I mean, yeah, we're all going to watch it. We all have the same app, so pay for it
Yeah.
once. We all watch it.
Yeah.
And then you own it. But
fine.
then, like, if this does continue, people are going to end up owning a lot of movies, but they're going to make a lot of money.
Like, I don't know if I would buy Mulan if I wasn't podcasting about stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Black Widow, I would, though, probably.
Yeah, definitely Black Widow. Definitely a bunch of other movies I would. Just not Mulan.
It's just the future of a movie theater is now even more further up
But
in
I know
the
that
air,
there's people that
far away.
would. So it's not like I don't think it's a good idea.
They're going to have to movie theaters coming out of this are going to have to rethink their experience as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. I got some comments from our listeners from our Facebook group, Jock and Nerd Nation. J.R. Flamin goes, what? I was so pumped at the original headline. Didn't know it was $30 more. Looks so good, though. Blake Braden comments, yeah, price walls for monthly premium streaming services. Same thing EA does for video games. That's a good point. It's kind of like a video game thing. It's a matter of time that it's $50 a movie. What's the typical IMAX ticket? $15. How much for a Blu-ray? Just like you said, Ruggs, $30. If you have a family of 3 or more, $30 is still cheaper than going to the theater. Price will increase, which is what you just said, Ruggs. $50? Is that? I think that would that be too much?
I think it's approaching too much. But the reason I said 50 because that's really high, and most people wouldn't pay that.
Yeah.
So you'd still have people to go to the theater. But that's not his rationale at all.
UFC fans pay about $65
Per pay-per-view.
Yeah, on top of
That's
their-
like a 3 hour. That's like a 4-hour event.
And it's like a
it's
live.
a four, but it's a 4-hour live
It's a
event,
live
so it's a
event.
little different.
Yeah.
But you don't get to keep it. So
Yeah.
there's pros and cons.
Now, if you get the special bonuses in the sequel, whatever, all that shit, the DVD shit on
will
there.
there be extra stuff like behind the scenes and cut scenes that will
That
come
would
with
be
this?
cool.
Yeah. Miriam Medina says, so will this be like a resurgence of pay-per-view, or does the $30 grant you unlimited access to the movie? It doesn't grant you unlimited access to the movie as long as you're subscribed.
I'm gonna have to dust off the black box that I have.
Oh, shit. You have to get nefarious means, as some people call sidestep it. No, well, look, we'll get it for the show. Matthew Lawrence, I am surprised they are doing this, but I'll throw them my dough. He's in. Ralph Bravo says it costs me more money taking my family to the theater. I'll be paying for it, but nothing replaces the big screen.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Dylan McCandless. Damn, I was actually somewhat interested in seeing this one, but I ain't about to blow $30 on it. All right, he's out. Yeah, see, it depends who you are.
Depends what movie.
It depends what movie.
What kind of fan you are.
And then Chris Marin says cinema's back open here. Tenet is scheduled for 3 weeks' time. He is in the UK.
Oh.
So I saw another article from Variety that says around half of the world's theaters are open right now. Just not this half, apparently.
Lame.
Because we can't fucking wear masks. I don't.
Not funny.
Not funny.
Human soundboard. Again, like I said, join our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. You can join the conversation, mix it up with us. We're there. The friends of the show are there, like Matt Delhauer, who does the What the Fuck Happened series, which you just heard 2 episodes ago. Speaking of which, here's a message from Delhauer for you, listener.
Hello, Jock and Nerd listeners. It is your resident ginger geek, Matt Delhauer, here to remind you that the 5-year anniversary of What the Fuck Happened is quickly approaching. To celebrate what is obviously the most important event for this podcast ever, we want you, the listeners, to have a say in what movie we cover. Hell, if it wasn't for all of you, there wouldn't have even been an episode 2, let alone 15. So, throughout the month of August, we are taking your suggestions over on Twitter. Tweet the movie you want us to cover to @JockandNerdCast. And be sure to use the hashtag JANWTF5. Yes, it's longer than it should be. While you're at it, let us know what your favorite episode of What the Fuck Happened has been so far. Share your favorite memories from the series, your favorite jokes, or send us fan art, whatever you want. Feed our egos. All right, now back to whatever the fuck Imran's doing.
I just wanted to shove it in here early so people hear it. Blake Braden actually sent in one suggestion for hashtag JANWTF5. He says, I have the perfect what the fuck movie to celebrate the 5th anniversary X-Men The Last Stand. That's not bad. We haven't done that one.
Yeah. If that's the only one we get, that's the one we're going to do.
That might be it. But that'll be a fun skewering on that movie. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Anyways, let us know what you think he did of this crazy Mulan. And I'm like excited, but I'm also like, man, the theaters could be done. New world, here we come. I got a couple of trailers I wanted to discuss with you guys of things coming out this month, very soon, and next month. Let's start with a movie that's going to come out on Netflix August 14th, which is the Friday this week this show drops. And, well, it's another big budget Netflix action superhero movie. It's called Project Power. And it's got a crazy cast. You got Jamie Lee Fox. I just combined Jamie Lee Curtis with Jamie Foxx.
Or was there a Jamie Lee Presley?
There's also Jamie Lee Presley. You have Jamie Lee Fox. What would that look like? A mashup of Jamie Foxx and Jamie Lee. That's not the name. Anyways.
That'd be weird.
That would be very weird.
You really can't match. That's a strange mashup.
It might be sexy. Who knows?
Black and white usually make some decent looking babies.
Yeah. Jamie Foxx, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Machine Gun Kelly's in this one for some reason, Courtney B. Vance, and basically it's a story about a pill that gives you a random superpower for 5 minutes, and it may also kill you.
So it's Adderall, basically.
So it's Adderall, and so it's about a dealer and a cop, ex-soldier taking down people.
Cocaine.
What'd you guys think of this trailer? It is.
I was in. I'm all in on this.
It looks kind of fun. I've kind of lowered my expectations for these movies on Netflix now after the last couple.
I'm like, this looks like it might be a good time. Let me check it out.
Yeah, I watched it. And at first I was like, oh, another Netflix movie with a big name. This looks incredibly mediocre. That's what at first where I was thinking.
Yeah.
And as I watched it, I went, the same thing Hunter's Rugs. I was like, this looks kind of fun.
It's not bad.
You know, I mean, I'm not expecting a ton, but as long as it's fun and a lot of action and cool use of powers, you know, it's kind of the pill where you get powers is not all that original, but maybe the time limit on it is. So
it's like a shittier Hour Man. You only get 5 minutes.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's like that movie. I didn't see it, but the one where
Limitless.
the guy's cells were getting regenerated.
Oh, that was Upgrade.
With the Tom Hardy lookalike.
Upgrade. That was Upgrade. Yeah. Or like Bloodshot, or like Limitless,
Bloodshot.
or
Limitless. I mean, we've seen this kind of idea before, but as long as you can throw us a good time and have some good one-liners and it's not boring, then
it's nothing new.
Yeah.
This is the thing that I like about it. The time limit and the fact that you don't know what your powers are until you get it.
A random power is great.
You're gonna get random powers.
Yeah.
It would be funny if there were some like really dud powers.
Yes,
that were just stupid.
You just have stronger farts that propel you in the air.
Yeah.
Like just the dumb. So you see one guy's on fire. One guy kind of has like invulnerability. I love the shot where JGL's getting shot in the head and it just kind of bounces off him like that's what would happen to Superman. It would just, your face would ripple and the bullet would fall.
It seems to me that Netflix is kind of floating in this niche of and I obviously haven't seen this movie, but let's pay these big names to be in our movies.
Yeah.
And this is their movie to kind of just have fun, fuck around a little bit. Like you saw that with like Will Smith in a Netflix movie.
Bright. Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth. Now you're seeing Charlize Theron and then these two guys, JGL and Jamie Foxx. So I'm not expecting amazing acting, but as long as it's not boring, like I found The Old Guard to be at times, then I think it'll be a success.
This looks more action packed, and both those guys are really good actors. Like I think you can expect a good performance from both of them. Hopefully, the script is good. I don't know if it's original or if it's based on anything.
What is it called?
Project Power. It takes place in New Orleans. Would you guys take a pill with that risk? You don't know what the power is, you may die.
What's the downside?
You may die. Like that one dude explodes, so it could kill you. She says, but that's just like all drugs. If you take hard drugs, there's always.
What would I do
risk.
with 5 minutes of power?
5 minutes of pure power. I'd probably fucking roll the dice.
What would you do with that 5 minutes of power?
It would depend on the power. So you have to be really good at thinking on your feet and coming up with something. You don't have a lot of time. Maybe you would have a list of different powers and then the best thing to do in a database or something in a Google spreadsheet. Just
for context, both of these directors really haven't done much.
No, this is not.
Both of them have participated in Paranormal Activity movies and The Catfish, the TV show.
So sometimes first timers.
Somewhat first time. I mean, they've directed stuff, but this is by far the biggest, highest profile thing they're going to do.
All right. Yeah, I see. They do a lot of shorts and videos. For a lot of first-time directors, and JGL's doing movies. So Joseph Gordon-Levitt, if you haven't noticed, had been missing.
Doing movies as opposed to what?
No, he's been not doing movies for a long time. He just kind of this is his comeback. He did that movie on Amazon, 7,500. That was like his first movie in a few years. He had 2 kids. He wanted to raise the kids. And now he's doing this movie with an unknown director. So it's interesting how he's kind of coming back, picking these interesting different projects. He's
actually got he's got a movie that's coming out that was supposed to come out this year, which was one that might win an Oscar. I don't know if you guys heard of it. It's produced by Spielberg, directed by Aaron Sorkin. The Trial of the Chicago 7.
Oh, yes, I did hear about that.
Yeah, he's in it. Sacha Baron Cohen is in it.
Oh, shit, dude. Aaron Sorkin and the Chicago 7 story sounds...
William Hurt.
That sounds amazing. Like, it's good. Yeah. I would fucking love to watch that. Is it done? I wonder. Put it on stream.
It's done. It's supposed to come out in October, but we'll see.
It'll be on VOD.
Yeah.
That American Pickle Seth Rogen movie is out on HBO Max, by the way. It's out already.
What's that about?
I don't know. It's like he plays himself and his grandfather, and something about he's a pickle maker or something. I don't fucking know.
He's a pickler.
Looks like Netflix is going to put this out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It
was supposed to be in theaters, 7. But I think looks like Netflix is probably going to do it.
Speaking of this is not Netflix. Speaking of HBO Max, Ridley Scott's U.S. TV directorial debut is coming out September 3rd in the form of a TV show called Raised by Wolves. This fucking trailer is wild.
Yeah, I don't even know what it's about. I think it's I have an idea what it's about, but
so here's the description.
Crazy.
Raised by Wolves centers on two androids tasked with raising human children on a mysterious virgin planet. Burgeoning colony of humans threatens to be torn apart by religious differences. The androids learn that controlling the beliefs of humans is a treacherous and difficult task. Oh, you think? You think androids? So yeah, it looks like the Earth is dead and the androids are birthing babies and raising human kids as androids. And I love this trailer. I love the use of the three little the big bad wolf, Red Riding Hood. Is that what it was?
Three little
pigs and the big bad wolf analogy. Anthony, what do you think of this crazy? It's your man. It's your boy Ridley Scott.
My boy.
Aliens.
I like some Ridley Scott. This reminded me of the vibe that I got from Prometheus.
A little bit.
And that is just really strange and a lot of the different things here. The only difference is it doesn't have the baggage of all that alien history. So for me personally, I mean, it's a TV series. I'm not crazy interested in getting invested in it, but if it's good and enough people say it's good, then I'll watch it. But it looks crazy for sure. And it looks
feel
out
like
there.
It's going to be like a horror sci-fi show, and there's a lot of those out there now. But I think that this is a little bit more edgy and kind of like, you watch Annihilation, you're like, I don't fucking know what I'm watching.
Yeah.
And this is going to feel like you're watching a series of Annihilation.
It may be a little confusing.
But Ridley Scott usually at least is more accessible than with the guy who does the Annihilation stuff.
Alex Garvey. Yeah. Ridley's producing the whole series and directing the first two. And look, it looks like Game of Thrones level production and money, like big, but it's HBO Max. And there's a fucking crazy crawly creature that looks frightening. And I'm
watching it.
Yeah, I'm
totally watching it.
Looks fucking dope. And the whole thing about them, like the aliens trying to control the humans, doesn't remind me of Aliens and Prometheus, and could be good. The Boys over on Amazon Prime is coming out September 4th, and like we were just talking about, they continue to promote the series really well, though, with the final season 2 trailer that gives you a little bit more of the story. Anthony, what did we learn more about this season?
Seems like there's a new superhero or super villain in town, and she's got a big role, and then she's creating this group of enhanced terrorists. And yeah, I mean,
Stormfront,
it's just more of more absurdity, more craziness from the first season, just ratcheted up maybe to another level. So I mean, I'm interested. I like the first season a lot, and this trailer just seems like more of the same. I mean, it seems like they've been releasing stuff every week.
Yeah.
So I kind of already have an idea of what I'm watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, laser my fucking tits. Let's go.
Dude, that's the best line. Don't be a pussy and laser my fucking tits.
The thing that I like about these trailers, especially this last trailer, is that you do get the sense that Homelander is going to be an unpredictable force in this, because he was the bad guy and he was the main antagonist, and now this new person comes in and he doesn't like this person.
Yeah, I wonder what side because Stormfront's like, well, we can raise an army of millions of soups, and some of the signs that people are holding in that protest scene are interesting. And again, it's super fucking bloody and violent. You see him laser a guy in half and heads are exploding. It's just perfect.
Should be fun.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, I was thinking about how like this is a great age for these superhero / family, dysfunctional family shows. There's so many. You got Legends of Tomorrow, which is a cartoon, but they're a fun family. You got fucking Doom Patrol on HBO, which is on HBO Max now, and they're in season 2. It's so good, and it's so weird. It is so out there that it's amazing. Then you got Umbrella Academy, which is a little bit less weird, but still fantasy. And then The Boys is so gritty and grounded, and like I could see them trying to do political allegories with this election coming up and this coming out a month before. This is going to be very interesting with how close they troll things.
Should be fun.
But I'm just glad to have all three. Dude, those 3 shows, Doom Patrol, Netflix, Umbrella Academy, and The Boys are amazing. They're all so good.
I haven't
right
watched
now.
Doom Patrol. I don't know if I gotta get back on that.
It's very good. It's very strange, but it's very good. I'm enjoying it. And then the last trailer it's not a superhero movie, but it is for sure a movie that is going to be added onto that 99 Mindfucks movie list. It is Charlie Kaufman's latest movie coming out on Netflix September 4th also. So Labor Day, bunch of shit is going to come out. Everyone will be home. Check all this out. This trailer is very weird. Here's the description of the movie. It's just full of misgivings. A young woman travels with her new boyfriend to his parents' secluded farm. Upon arriving, she comes to question everything she thought she knew about him and herself, based on a novel by Ian Reed. Anthony, this is a weird one. What did you think of this trailer?
Strange for sure. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Get Out.
I was about to say the same thing.
Shit.
Oh my God.
A little bit of Get Out, but maybe even like taken a step further in terms of weirdness. Yeah, I mean, I kind of liked it. I didn't think it was, it was the kind of weird that sometimes can turn me off, but I like Get Out a lot. So yeah, that's what it reminded me of, Get Out.
I mean, we've experienced Kaufman.
I was just waiting for someone to stir some tea.
So, yes, Get Out. So, Ruggs, you also getting a horror vibe. So this is a Charlie Kaufman written, directed horror movie, but maybe not a straight horror movie.
I mean, I like the absurdity in his movies, and I like the comedy in his movies.
Yeah,
so hopefully there's some comedy in there.
Yeah. Which is like being John Malkovich, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind have both of those aspects, and he does it really well.
Yeah, so I don't know. I didn't really see a lot of comedy in this. So, I mean, it's fine for him to stretch. Let's see what happens.
Have you guys seen any movies he's actually directed?
Adaptation
is the other one.
That one he wrote.
Yeah.
He didn't direct that.
He didn't write
He did Synecdoche, New York or something.
And Anna Melissa. So
I don't think I've seen.
I don't know what he's like as a director.
Right.
Anomalisa is done with puppets, and I watched that. Yes, it's very strange.
So he did after doing John Malkovich, he does a whole movie with puppets.
Puppets, yes. And as a puppet, I had to watch it. They made me watch it.
So, in your contract.
I'm just wondering if he's as good at directing his own stuff as he is.
I feel like he's
going to
be he's a weird director, but I have not seen. He's only directed 2 other movies. So
I remember falling asleep to his movie Synecdoche, New York.
Okay.
All right.
But when he's paired with a great director like Spike Jonze or Michel Gondry on the other one, Eternal Sunshine, the results are amazing. I'll tell you the audio of this trailer creeped me out because you see the dog starts shaking and it looks like
strange,
right?
Yeah.
And then the sound of it keeps going.
The dog's just standing, or it sounds like he's been shaking the entire time.
Yes, and I'm thinking
That's
of
really
this
fucking
poor
weird.
dog, but it's also like he's stuck in time because she's clearly hinting of some kind of time manipulation, all points in time.
But then there's also hints that the guy can hear her thoughts.
Yes, that I also thought was interesting. Can he hear what she's thinking? And Toni Collette and the father are super creepy when she goes to visit him in this. Like the whole thing got me super sucked in. And Kaufman is just like, he's unique, he's original, he's definitely different. It's always going to be something fucking crazy. So, but look, that's all. You don't got to pay $30 for any of that shit, people. That's all shit we're going to get to watch.
It's based on a book, from what I'm seeing.
Yes, Ian Reed.
Yeah.
I think the book was fairly recent, too.
Yeah,
a couple years.
2016.
Yeah. Last thing in the news, some Marvel news. Finally, there's, what Marvel's been quiet except for nothing. I haven't done anything. Captain Marvel 2, a movie way in the future, has found a director. Deadline, according to Deadline, Marvel has enlisted Candyman reboot director Nia DaCosta to direct the sequel, which she will be replacing the pair of Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck.
Good, I didn't like
Yes,
that. Or I thought they were whatever.
I think they were okay.
Anything's an upgrade from there,
Yes.
I hope.
I think this is probably a good idea. Different movie, different director. Did this Candyman reboot come out? I don't even know. So I don't know what else she's done.
No, it didn't come out yet.
Well, directing wise, she did a movie called Top Boy.
Ooh, Top Boy. I think I saw that on a special channel.
It's actually a TV series, apparently.
Oh, it's a TV series.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 2 episodes.
Little Woods is what she's done that people maybe have seen.
Little Woods and Top Boy.
Hey,
sounds like both
Boy.
like porn names.
Give her a shot. Look, it can't.
Like they sound like both like porn names.
Oh, and then she'll be the first black woman to direct a Marvel Studios film.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yay.
I just like Top Boy.
Top Boy. Meanwhile, Patty Jenkins has said after she's doing Wonder Woman 3, she's done. I'm out, which I can't blame her. That's
Wonder Woman 3?
Yeah, she's like, well, we're going to do a third one. Well, I don't know what they're doing with the second one. When
Isn't
they're gonna
that like, you shouldn't do more than 3?
No, you shouldn't. Take 3. Even Nolan, when he did the Batman trilogies, he did a movie in between. You do 3 Wonder Womans back to back, that's fucking draining. You're going to run out of shit to fucking Wonder Woman about.
I like that she's our I like that either you're just reporting this to us, or that she's just coming out and saying after 3 I'm done when 2 hasn't even come out.
No, she said somewhere
I'm done after 3. Okay, cool. Good for you.
That was the news story.
You still have another movie to direct.
Yes,
oh, okay. You're really drawing a line in the sand here.
If 2 shits the bed, you think you're gonna let her do 3?
Yes, that's a good point. Also, no, that was the headline. Is Patty Jenkins says I'm done after.
I'm
3.
done after 3.
Great.
Oh, okay.
Fucking
good.
Great. Give it to someone else.
I mean, at 3 is a good amount.
Yeah. 3.
You're not doing anything. This isn't news.
Let's get 2 out first, though. How about that?
How about we get the second one out and get some reception to that?
All right. Well, look, you know what I'm thinking of doing is shaving my balls.
My balls was hot.
Jesus.
Because what? Hard transition there. Look, you need to have a safe way to groom your body hair, Anthony, and we have a great solution.
What's that?
It's our awesome sponsor, Manscaped.
Oh,
Look, it's been the pandemic. You probably are not doing any kind of grooming. You probably look like Sasquatch down there.
Little Bigfoot
So
action.
you should do something.
Yeah.
Come on. Look in the mirror. Look down at your balls. And you can't see your dick. We know you can't. So use the Manscaped, whatever the fuck this thing is called.
The
The lawnmower
3.0 is amazing piece of technology.
You don't need to know the name of it. You just need to go and buy it and use it.
All you need to do is go to manscaped.com, use the promo code Jock and Nerd, and you will get 20% off and free shipping on anything you buy there. And they have amazing products. They're an amazing company to partner with. We can't thank them for their sponsorship enough, but this lawnmower is amazing. It's got a light. It's waterproof.
Got an awesome grip.
It feels great in your hand. It feels great when it vibrates your balls, and it won't nick your balls.
Well, yeah, and the grip is so good that you won't have to worry about it vibrating so much that it slips out your hands and cut your dick off.
No, even so, sweaty people, if you suffer from sweaty palms, this is the trimmer for you.
I think we've done enough.
I think that's good. Visit manscaped.com, promo code Jock and Nerd. We'll get you 20% off. Free shipping. Let's take a quick break and we'll be back with a Patreon pick movie review right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
What's up, everybody? This is Mr. Throwback Thursday from the Mr. Throwback Thursday podcast. Along with my co-host, Bill. Every Thursday, we bring you classic hip-hop.
Classic. Classic.
You know, all the good stuff, the stuff that you forgot about, the golden age, pre-golden age, back to the original era.
For all the pioneers, I'm going way back.
Each week, we bring you hip-hop headlines, so we let you know what's going on with your favorite artists from back in the day. We bring you Wu News. We dedicate an entire segment just to the Wu-Tang Clan every week.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
We bring you 2 records. One is a one and done. One is a record of the week. We give you an artist of the month. We give you all the classics.
Classic. Classic.
Come and check us out. Every week we're on iTunes, Stitcher, and at MrThrowbackThursday.com. And if you remember nothing else, always remember, new school stale, old school fresh.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll get you back to your podcasty goodness now in a minute.
First, we'd like to take a second to tell you about our marginally better podcast, the 365 Flicks podcast.
I am the Scottish weeding whore, Chris.
And I am the Pissy X video store clerk, Kev.
And we bring you the latest movie and TV news, reviews, and rants.
All that and a bunch of top 5s that you really will not care about.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Libsyn, and all other third-party podcasting apps.
And on top of all that, you'll get free access to our Indie Talk. You'll hear us speaking with directors, producers, actors, comic book creators, and artists about their experiences.
Don't forget to drop us 5 stars and follow us on the Facebooks and the Twitters.
Told them not to go in the water.
And
Listener, if you enjoy the show, then you be sure to join our awesome fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon.
Jock and Nerd.
And you can support the show, and you'll get cool stuff. And everyone who supports the show gets a bonus podcast RSS feed.
Oh, shit.
You know that music you play in that tradition
Yeah.
where I go jock
Yeah.
and nerd? It reminds me of that Chappelle skit where he's playing Rick James and he has that aura.
Oh, yes.
And he's just waving
It's
at the
like,
camera to come closer. That's what that reminds me of.
That's you. I've created.
That's me. It
That's
reminds
you.
me of me, like that music where I'm going the jock and nerd. It just reminds me, like if someone was looking through a peephole and I was just fingering them to come closer with like a yellow aura around
It's
me.
very
you're
like
fingering.
You're fingering.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know, like
It's very
hey, come here. Not
seductive.
fingering them, like sticking my finger in their butthole. You'd have to pay for that, of
This is
course.
very trippy. I find it surreal and seductive at the same time.
Right.
It gets-
That's what I was thinking of.
Yes.
So sorry to interrupt.
Gets me all tingly. Look, first of all, a big thank you to all our continuing supporters. We can't thank you enough for hanging out. I know times are crazy. And for those of you guys still supporting us, trust me, it means the world. You guys are awesome. And you're enjoying stuff like the shows coming out early and Corona Binge Reports, tiny short movie reviews from mostly Anthony. Sometimes
I was
other
going to do
people.
a bunch and I fucking dropped the ball. So
Well, look, you got nothing but time. So
yeah.
keep them coming. Anthony, what did you binge report this week on the feed there?
What did I do? I did Airplane?
Yes.
Exclamation point.
Yes. You have to say airplane.
Airplane. And I did 48 hours with hours abbreviated.
Yeah. Don't spell out the hours. Period. Look, first of all,
Two
really.
80s movies.
Yes, and appropriate for the movie we're going to talk about this episode. You had a great week of watching kind of awesome classic 80s movies.
Yeah. Airplane. Stupid good time.
Dude, you don't understand how happy I am you watched Airplane.
I know. I knew that would make
Oh
you
my
very
God.
happy.
We're gonna
There's
Geek boner.
75 jokes going on in every scene.
I want to talk about it later after we do. We have to discuss Airplane but even 48 hours, because I rewatched both of those movies after you turned those in.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, fuck, I got to watch these again. And yeah, they're both on Netflix.
48 hours is great. I never actually sat down and watched the entire thing.
Yeah. Another great 80s classic. And listener, if you give us $10 or more a month, you get to pick any movie and force us to watch it and review it.
Oh, shit.
Sometimes it's a pleasure. Sometimes it's torture. That's the fun of the whole fucking promotion. So sign up, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. And we're going to do one of those movies right now. We'll be reviewing 1987's The Lost Boys. Here's your spoiler alert.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
This movie sponsored by, dedicated to Ron Hans. This is his second pick. His first pick was Watchmen, which we did on episode 239. So if you are a patron for over a year, $10 or more, you can pick another movie. So this is Ron's second pick. And Ron, we have to thank you. Ron has been a patron for 41 months. He is in
thank you.
top 5 for total lifetime donations.
Oh, shit.
Ron Hans is. You are amazing. Thank you, sir. Means a lot. This movie on Rotten Tomatoes sitting at a nice 76% for The Lost Boys. 6.36 out of 10 average rating. The movie was made for, what was the budget here? Not a lot. Obviously, it was the 80s, about $8.5 million. Goes on to make $32 million worldwide, which for an R-rated movie in the 80s, that's not too bad of a return. This is Joel Schumacher's fourth movie in, the late Joel Schumacher. We talked about him. We were talking about him. Oh, because he passed away. We talked about him. And then
That's right.
Then we did a movie. Did we do one of his movies? I can't remember. Everything blends together.
No, not for a while.
Not for a while. We did Batman and Robin. Directed by Joel Schumacher. Story by Jan Fisher and James Jeremiah. Screenplay by Jan Fisher, James Jeremiah, and Jeffrey Boehm. Starring an amazing 80s cast of young up-and-comers. You got Jason Patric as Michael, Corey Haim as Sam, Diane Wiest as Lucy, Bernard Hughes as the grandpa, Edward Herman as Max, Kiefer Sutherland as Vampire David, Jamie Gertz from the 80s as Star, Corey Feldman as Edgar Frog, Jameson Newlander as his brother Alan Frog. You got Brooke McCarter as Paul, Billy Wirth as Dwayne, and a young Alex Winter as Marco, and he's credited as Alexander Winter in the movie, but I think he shortened it later. I think it's just his first movie. It's got to be, right?
Before Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
Let's see. Alex Winter. Oh, no, this isn't his fourth movie. It's his second movie. He was in Death Wish 3 in 1985, and then The Lost Boys. So, yeah, nice young Alex Winter. Anthony, this is a cult classic 80s movie. Had you ever seen this before?
No.
Of course not. Great. Yes.
No.
I love it. Can you tell me what happens in The Lost Boys?
Oh, man. The Lost Boys is about these two brothers that move into Santa Carla,
Santa Carla,
which is this rundown town somewhere probably in California where there's a lot of crime, and apparently there's fucking vampires.
Yeah.
And they somehow come across these vampires because one of the older brothers falls in love with some chick and ends up getting initiated into these vampires, and then a lot of crazy, weird shit happens because one of the guys is part vampire now. So there you go. One of the brothers.
Yeah.
And it's all about dealing with that guy becoming a part vampire in this wacky town.
Nice, straightforward plot. Now, Ruggs, what is your relationship with this movie? I feel like you've probably...
I saw this in 6th grade.
Oh, really?
And I loved it when I was in 6th grade because I didn't know shit.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, there's a guy reading comic books. I like comic books. He says something about Batman. And I was like, he knows about Batman. And I liked vampires, and I thought the vampire aspect was cool. Cool. There was some goth shit going on. There was some new post-punk weird stuff going on. So it had some good vibes during the time. And, I think it influenced a lot of shit in its time. And as far as horror movies and stuff like that. And I remember liking it when I was a kid, a lot.
So for some reason, I thought that you watched this a lot. This wasn't one that you would throw on all the time.
No, this was one I've seen maybe once or twice when I was a kid. And I just remember liking it. But I wasn't really into horror movies.
Yeah.
So, but I did appreciate it a lot because it's it's kind of like a horror movie, but it's not. It's kind of more of a black comedy or whatever in some aspects. But it was something I watched maybe once or twice, and I enjoyed it when I was a kid.
Anthony, you primed yourself properly with the airplane and the 48 hours to now watch 87's Lost Boys later in the decade. What did you think about this movie now in 2020 first time?
Yeah, I mean, there's movies that are the right kind of weird and have enough elements where, this has vampires, this has these kids that are moving into a new town, these has some weird sex scene, this has these two kids, one including Corey Feldman, who are in a comic book store and acting like they're Rambo.
The Frog Brothers.
So there's a lot of weird things that could click for people. This doesn't click for me.
Oh, no.
No. The only thing I really enjoyed was Corey Feldman trying to have an adult voice throughout the entire film, and some of the vampire rules and when they're trying to prep to eventually kill these guys. But for most of this movie, it didn't click. I'm sorry. There wasn't. It's just one of those movies where it's going to click and you're going to really like it or you're not. And I was not entertained by a lot of this movie. I found it to be really strange and the humor just didn't click.
This is a movie that has a lot of fans and it's a big cult movie that people watch over and over again. Now myself, I don't think I've ever seen this movie all the way through. So I finally, when I sat down to watch it, it was kind of like the first time to me, but in a way, I mean, it's funny and it's scary and there's a little bit of action. And I believe it was the first kind of mix of horror comedy. You didn't really see that before. I don't think studios thought that would work.
Well, not in a mainstream film.
Right. In mainstream movies, they were afraid to put out a movie like that and R-rated, but it's kind of the perfect 80s movie. It has everything you need in an 80s movie. It's got both Corys. It's got big-haired vampires riding motorcycles. It's got comic books. It's got 80s music. It's got a shirtless fucking wrestler playing a saxophone on the dock on the beach as a frontman of a band. That guy is a real person, by the way. His name is Tim. Where's his name? He is an actual musician, Tim Capello. He's played with a bunch of people. He went to Juilliard. He's a trained musician on the saxophone, and that is his shtick, which I thought was hilarious. But this cast really makes this movie. I really enjoyed the cast of this movie.
It's like, because Corey Feldman and Kiefer Sutherland are in Stand By Me.
Yes.
And they both have roles where Corey Feldman's a good guy, Kiefer Sutherland's a bad guy. And it's like they took them and put them in this movie and then just jacked them up to 11 in terms of absurdity. So I just had that quick observation.
That's a good point. This movie made me gay. Right? That's all I have to say about this film.
Okay.
Because I just remember when I was a kid that Jason Patric was so handsome.
He's pretty hunky in this.
And he's like really good looking. And I'm like, wow, I'm sure chicks like are drooling over this guy. I wanted to like be like that guy. And like, when I was a kid, I didn't really like pay attention to story structure or the script. I was just like, oh, the music is cool. Like People Are Strange, done by
Echo and the Bunnymen. Great cover.
Echo and the Bunnymen.
Great cover,
like a good goth group.
Yeah.
Cry
Little
you
Sister.
Had, like,
it's a good song.
yeah, you had like all of that cool stuff going. It was like there was a lot of cool going into it. So I was like kind of like romanced by that when I was a kid, and I thought that the vampires were cool, that they could fly, and all that junk. I forgot completely about the saxophone guy. And watching it this time, I just could not forget it. It was like one of those things like, holy shit, there's like a fucking guy. I'm like, this is the gayest movie I've ever seen. Like, it really is. It's like you have this hot young guy. They go to see a guy playing a saxophone with his shirt off who's got greased tits. And then a little bit later, it's like the bad guy and good guy. They like have like this, they want to be together. And, you know, the girl's not even, it's like an afterthought, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, you got Corey Feldman in the bubble bath. It's like Corey Haim in the bubble bath.
Yeah.
And like he's wearing like these like weird clothes that are very flamboyant, Corey Haim. Like, what is that outfit he's wearing? So it's like, it was like a very homoerotic movie now that I look at it.
Oh, it's Joel Schumacher.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, like the girl's an afterthought. Like Jamie Gertz, which is she plays the nerd and everything, and they tried to make her the hot girl.
Yeah.
But she didn't show any of her boobs or anything.
No,
so like
I was kind of disappointed. 80s movie, no boobs.
No boobs today. I mean,
that's like that's a staple. Like you gotta have it in there. It's an 80s movie. But like, I don't know. I mean, I did like it. I did like it when I was a kid. I did not like it now. I thought it was really terrible.
Yeah.
But but it's one of those things when you revisit your past, sometimes you're pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
And sometimes you're like, oh, that's shit. Oh my God, I can't believe I liked it. But I still like it to a like in a kitschy way. But I
like it like I like Roadhouse, you know? Kind of just like
Roadhouse is like legit. Like it's like so like first of all, this script makes no sense.
No, they don't explain a lot of things, and a lot of things don't make sense. But it doesn't
there's so
matter.
many opportunities. Like, okay, he goes to the underground lair to see Star, right? And they don't talk. They just start having sex, but they don't show you the sex.
Yeah.
So, like, she's like, no, I can't talk to you about it. I just have to F you. What am I saying?
You don't have to censor here, Rex.
Yeah, I know.
Well, there's also things like, what makes why Jason Patric punches Kiefer Sutherland in the face?
Yeah.
I guess Kiefer Sutherland likes it.
He liked it. He
likes it.
You got Moxie
I don't understand why, they want him to be a part of it. Like, they just are like, follow me. And he just follows them.
It's mysterious.
Like, why would he follow them? There's a lot of things that are just kind of written really weird. Yeah. I personally, for Roadhouse, no, I didn't have Roadhouse vibes. I had more closer to the Wraith vibes than I did Roadhouse.
Oh, shit. Oh, I forgot about the Wraith. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah, the Wraith is on a different level.
This is above the Wraith. Come on. This is not Wraith.
To me, it's closer to the Wraith than it is Roadhouse.
So Wraith had boobs.
Wraith did have boobs.
Yes.
Wraith, don't get me wrong. Wraith is a bad movie.
Yes.
This movie, I can somewhat appreciate, like, just how strange and at points how fun it can kind of be.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the stew that they made, I just didn't like it. There's some ingredients I liked. I could eat the beef, maybe some of the onions, but the rest of it, nah.
It doesn't work.
Good.
It doesn't work. It doesn't hold together that well.
No, I will agree that in the first half of it, like its setup stuff is really great, this world building, but then the end becomes a conventional, usual fucking bullshit. And
See, I actually kind of like the end more than the beginning.
Oh,
it's flimsy.
It's a little flimsy.
It's like you have somebody like Joel Schumacher that does like pretty decent films, and you expect more from him now, especially going into it that way, knowing, oh, this is a Joel Schumacher film, and going, oh, this guy. I mean, he made Batman and Robin. You're like, oh, that makes sense. He made this movie too. Like, so he can't make bad movies. He can make great movies. He can make terrible movies. I don't know. Like, okay, so he gets to town, and like everything happens in that same day. They get there. He meets these guys. He all of a sudden he just chases a girl. He goes to see a saxophone playing guy with his tits greased up.
He sees the
and
girl.
then sees a girl in the crowd, follows her.
Yeah.
And then the
Stalks
mother
her.
walks into the same video store where they're in, and he gets the job. Everything's so convenient.
Yeah, it's the 80s.
And
It's an 80s movie. That's what happens.
I know, but it's like, yeah, that in the 80s you could do that. You could just say, fuck it. These people, like everyone was so dumb.
Yeah.
In the 80s that like
you didn't have to explain things. Like you just kind of go with it, which is what they do.
it's a movie.
A lot in this.
You need to get to this.
So it does have a few historical significant things. First of all, I find it interesting. I read this whole article from The Atlantic now saying, to Joel Schumacher's credit, this comes out in Reagan's America, and the movie goes against like the conservative notion of family, sexuality, the idea of a nuclear family, when a lot of other movies were falling in line with the nuclear family. This one now challenging it. So there is that kind of queerness in there. It's on purpose. And, you know, Michael's being pulled between two families. And then that made me question, like, who are the lost boys? Are they the vampires, or is it Sam and Michael who are kind of lost and they're just looking for a place to belong? But more importantly, this is the movie that made vampires young and sexy.
Oh, shit.
This creates the teen vampire genre. There's a directly influenced. Joss Whedon cites this as its inspiration for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the Twilight movies, clearly Vampire Diaries. Because if you remember, up until then, vampires used to look like Bram Stoker's Dracula. And I remember
it was
this
his Dracula.
because when I was like 8, I would dress up for Dracula for Halloween like several years in a row. And it was, you had to have a cape and a white face and that hair peak coming down, you know? And then suddenly they're vampires that look normal, but then they morph and they're young and sexy. Nobody had ever seen this before. This was like a huge risk that Schumacher wanted to do, and it pays off and creates this whole genre. And I always love vampire movies when you talk about like the different rules, because they always have different rules for each movie. So in this one, like, I love how the dogs can sense them. Garlic doesn't work. I love that dinner scene where they're trying to figure out if Max is the head vampire, which some of that didn't make sense because he has a reflection. So how is he? But he did get invited in, which never.
What does that mean?
You can't invite a vampire. They can't come in until you invite them. I thought. Wasn't that one of the rules? You know.
Yeah, like I mean, I enjoyed like when the two kids are stealing holy water from a
they come in
from a wedding.
during the wedding.
I mean, some of it's clever. I mean, it's just not for me. Not for me.
I mean, you did have Fright Night that came out in the 80s as well.
That was the other one, yes.
That was the other one that was kind of big. There's another one I can't remember. It's a great one, but I can't remember what it was called.
But this was like the bigger one that got a lot more attention, and people still talk about it to this day.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, I looked on Letterboxd because I'm a big Letterboxd guy, and most people kind of regard it as a cult classic type thing.
But it is one of those that if you liked it as a kid and you go back and watch it, you're like, oh boy. What this?
I could see myself really enjoying it as a kid and thinking this was an edgy film.
Especially in the 80s. Like, I love the whole comic book scene. I can't believe I missed this one. I always remember hearing about it, but I never sat down. Kiefer Sutherland is so good, though, in this movie. He doesn't have a lot of lines, but He's I thought he did a good job as David.
He's definitely got a. I mean, from this and Stand By Me, he's definitely got a persona that, first off, I never was aware of because I've always thought of him in 24.
Right. Yes.
And he's definitely an awesome looking asshole. Like I definitely want to punch that guy in the face.
So when he did 24, he had like, I think he had an alcohol problem and he went away for a while, and that was his kind of coming back.
He's got a great face to punch.
Yes, he does. But then, you think about the tragic life of Corey Haim and how he ended up. He overdosed. It was 2010. But this is the movie where the Coreys met, and some of the behind the scenes stuff, like apparently they were just fucking partying like all the time.
They did a bunch of movies and reality show TV.
But
together.
on the set of this movie, they were all kind of fucking partying also. Like these kids, they were like 12, 13, and both of the Coreys were like doing drugs and drinking, which is what you did in the entertainment industry.
I guess that's the 80s, right?
Yeah, it was the 80s.
Being young and famous in the 80s.
Yeah, that's what happens.
I forgot about Near Dark. Near Dark came out with Bill Paxton.
Oh.
Same year.
Really? I don't even know that movie.
Oh, I'll put a link in the notes right here.
So I have a couple of fun production notes that kind of explain a couple of things. Originally, so the title is a reference to the Lost Boys from Peter Pan.
Yeah, of
and
course.
Neverland. J.M. Barrie's, Peter Pan.
They never grow old.
They never grow old like vampires. Originally, this movie was going to be directed by Richard Donner after...
Oh, jeez.
Yes. After his hit Goonies with Goonies 2 years earlier, they wanted to make a young kid comedy vampire movie. Originally, the film was envisioned as more of a juvenile vampire adventure with 13 or 14-year-old vampires, and the Frog Brothers were going to be chubby 8-year-old Cub Scouts, and the character of Star was a young boy. But then Donner left to do Lethal Weapon. Schumacher goes, I'll do this, but we have to make this a lot sexier and more adult. And he rewrote the thing, aged everyone up, and Schumacher has said that The Lost Boys is in a way about the fear we have of those who have lived outside of the mainstream. So he's tapping into like Reagan's America.
I do like the plot of this film. I do like the fact that it's just like about this broken family, and this guy moves to a new town and he finds this new group, and this group actually wants him to join. It wants him to be part of this group, and he's kind of torn, but they don't do it well. It's just the ideas are there. The concept is solid. It's just executed shittily. I mean, as an 80s movie, I mean, if they were to do this movie again and add the same, like all these undertones that you're talking about Reagan's America and falling in line and like being against culture and doing and kind of living your own way, and you could, but they basically mustache twirled the bad guy and, didn't make him sympathetic. It would have been cool, but it would have been a better dichotomy for him to go, do I want to be a part of this weird ass world? Like, you could do a lot with this idea.
But even Max, at the end, he just wanted a family. That's why he was going after their mom. And he said it was all going to be perfect, Lucy. One big happy family, your boys, my boys. And then Edgar has that great line. He goes, the blood-sucking Brady Bunch.
It's like these movies in the 80s are just all glossy. They're just all surface level.
That's what I was thinking.
They don't really try and build anything that's real.
Yeah.
They're just, okay, let's get the quippy lines in. Let's just see if we can get a couple of fun quippy lines in. Let's see if we can get Jason Patrick to bite his lip again, and let's grease up this guy's tits.
The lines, I thought it would have more lines. There weren't a lot. Like the one line I liked was when Corey Haim goes, my own brother, a goddamn shit-sucking vampire. You wait till mom finds out, buddy. That's
I like the Eddie Munster line.
Oh, yes. It's the attack of Eddie Munster. Death by stereo. They're just bad, cheesy lines. I thought he would have more. Like I said, this is the movie where the two Coreys first meet and go on to make a lot of movies. They say the name Michael 114 times.
Oh
yeah. At least.
Sing it,
somebody called Michael. Michael, join us.
I like the Frog Brothers, too. I like that there's these two dudes that work in a comic book store that know that there's fucking a vampire problem, and they even have comic books
survival guides
to illustrate this, and they kind of see the new guy and go, all right, listen, let me get you hip to what's going on. But it's done so poorly and not
so cheesy.
It's just so over the top. Monster Squad is just such much better 80s monster movie to me. And Monster Squad is aged down. They're kids.
Yes.
Like Stand By Me or
Right.
Goonies.
Yeah.
And it makes it more fun.
So maybe the original version of this would have been better. Schumacher did tell Corey Feldman to just watch Rambo movies and do that, which is why he's doing it. Like, that was his direction.
Well, that was like the big movie that came out a couple of years before.
Yeah, everybody's into it. Jamie Gertz, do you know what she's doing now? Her husband, Tony Wessler.
Blow.
Not below. She owns the Atlanta Hawks.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no kidding.
Her and her husband bought the NBA team for $720 million in 2015.
Jesus.
Yeah. So Jamie Gertz doesn't need to act anymore. She's doing fine. And then notice, you know how there's that great line also going back to the rules, how no two bloodsuckers go out the same way. All of them kind of die differently. One gets melted. The deaths were kind of great and the fucking screaming and yelling. But if you notice, Kiefer Sutherland's David, when he gets impaled, he doesn't explode or melt. He was supposed to be in a sequel Schumacher was pitching, and
They made a sequel.
It was, but it wasn't this. He was calling this The Lost Girls. It was going to be called The Lost Girls. David was going to come back. Instead, this movie spawns two sequels, The Lost Boys, The Tribe, and The Lost Boys, The Thirst. Both of those movies star Edgar Frog, Corey Feldman. Corey Haim has a cameo in The Tribe, and apparently both of them are shit movies. Have you seen?
I can imagine.
Has anybody seen those, Rugs?
No.
I've heard they're really bad, is from what I could tell. And there was also 2 comic book series, and there was a TV series planned, and I think they're making a musical. Of course, why not? Making a musical.
We talked about Kiefer Sutherland. We talked about Feldman, but what about Robert Patrick? I mean,
Jason Patrick.
Jason Patrick.
He's great.
Robert Patrick is the Terminator.
That's the
right?
Terminator. He's the T-1000.
Jason Patrick, like that guy could have been a huge star. Like he was in Speed 2, and that was it,
2,
right?
Wasn't he in Rush? Was he the guy in Rush?
Yeah, he was in.
Patrick?
Was it called Rush?
Yes, he was in Rush with. He was in Geronimo. Oh, he was in Geronimo. What happened to Jason Patrick?
That's what I want to know. Like he could have been like a huge star.
He's been making movies.
He lose his hair. I think that's what happened.
Called The Big Kill.
He just fucking went bald,
vanished.
and then was it.
That's possible. Best known for, and he was in Sleepers. Other funny story about Jason Patrick and Kiefer Sutherland. They both dated Julia Roberts, and I think Kiefer and Julia were going to get married, and then she called it off, and then she started dating Jason Patrick, or they were seen together. There was a whole thing.
Yay.
Yeah, there was a whole thing going on.
She got around.
But Jason Patrick hasn't done any like big movie in years.
He was in Narc. I think that was the only.
He was in
movie
Narc. He's really good in this, and almost didn't do it. But they talked him into it, and he talked them into getting Jamie Gertz because it was supposed to be a blonde girl originally, but he was friends with the Gertz. All right, well, let's rate the movie, Anthony.
Yeah, let's rate it.
Where are you putting this movie?
I'm going to go with a 5.
Oh, shit, okay.
It's not terrible.
Right on the line.
But it's not good.
Okay, Ruggs.
I would agree with Anthony, but because I saw it in my youth and it did, and as I said, there is something to how it affects me as a child and how it spurned all of these interest in other things like kind of like the goth and kind of like that cool leather jacket wearing shit and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. It's like The Crow.
I'm going to give it a 6. Yes.
Okay, yeah, The Crow seemed to be inspired by this. A 6, huh? Well, I do love the 80ness of this movie. I love this cast and just the whole feeling. Yes, it's not the perfect movie. I think the greased up saxophone player
it's pretty funny.
makes me want to give it like a 6.75, almost a 7.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
You love things.
Just go full 7.
All right, we'll go 7. Fuck it. It's because it's a fun whatever. Also, these 80s movies, I appreciate the runtime now in a lot of these movies because they're
hour and a half.
Nice, easy watch
hour 40.
there. Yeah. 90 to 100 minutes, and it's over before you know what's going on. Thank you. Who picked this? Ron Hans.
Jesus Christ.
Ron Hans.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you for the pick. He's at 41 months. Ron, you could probably send us the third pick.
Yeah, send us something else. Sorry if I'm shitting on your movie. I can't help but be honest.
He's done Watchmen and Lost Boys, 2 good movies. So, Ron, you can send us another one. Let's move into a little bit of what are we watching. Umbrella Academy Season 2 is out. Can I get a watch update, people?
I think I'm like 3 episodes in or something.
Okay, Anthony, have you watched any of this?
So I've had some of my friends say that this is actually good, which has made me a slightly bit more enthusiastic about starting a TV show where I forgot everything that happened. I watched the recap, and I have watched the first episode. So
okay.
There you go.
I watched the whole thing already.
Jesus Christ.
Well, but you know what? It was a really breezy binge. Like, it was easy to just keep going.
I'm not mad at it.
I
thought I was going to hate it, but I actually am enjoying it to a degree.
Fun show, so we will review.
That makes me a little bit more apt to want to watch more episodes.
I mean, it's not bowling me over, but I'm like, I'm happy that it's on.
First episode wasn't bad, just for what it's worth.
It's fun. There's a lot of
time travel
and rehashing and trying to remember what happened last season, but you get into it. So we will review this fully, hopefully when everyone's done, maybe by next week. I don't know.
Probably not.
Okay. Probably not. Anybody else watching anything fun they want to shout out?
I don't remember. I mean, I watched a lot of shit, but like I haven't remember anything besides Umbrella Academy. Yeah.
I quite enjoyed watching, just for what it's worth, Trump's interview with Jonathan Swan.
Oh, that guy's
Axios.
face reactions were
amazing.
amazing.
That guy's hilarious.
He's like, what? He's just like, wait a minute. What?
Wait, he goes, yeah, wait, Trump goes something along the lines of, some would say we're testing too much. He's like, who's saying that? He's like, well, you could read like the manuals or books.
Like, what manuals?
And Jonathan's, he's like, what manuals?
What are you talking about?
What books?
Look at these graphs here. No. What? You're reading this wrong. The memes.
His reactions are just so funny.
The memes from his reactions are great. Well, so like I mentioned when we did our Patreon read, I rewatched Airplane in 48 hours, Anthony. We got to talk about Airplane for a few minutes because
okay, fine. I'm happy to talk both of those movies. I like both of them.
And I can't believe I can actually talk about this movie with you, and you know what I'm talking about. This movie was my like initiation to comedy. This was like what started my comedy sensibilities because when this came out, I was probably like 8 years old by the time it was on TV. And in this movie, there are so many jokes. Like if you don't like a joke, just wait a minute. There's another one. But it's a great class in different types of jokes. You got puns, you got visual gags, you got wordplay, you have some really clever
surreal humor,
surreal, absurdist humor, logical humor, illogical humor, an amazing cast. And I just wanted to go round robin and just spit out lines from this movie because it's the best way to enjoy this movie. The fucking lines are amazing.
You ever been in a cockpit before? No, I never been on a plane before. You ever seen a grown man naked? It's just like, what?
You ever been to a Turkish
gladiator movies?
You like gladiator movies? You ever been to a Turkish prison, Billy? Victor, Roger. My favorite is Johnny.
Clearance.
What? Huh?
Excuse me, I speak jive.
Trump don't want help. Trump don't get no help. But the best is the fog is getting thicker and Leon's getting larger and fucking Johnny's the best where he goes, I got a map. What can you make out of this? Oh, I can make a brooch or a hat or a pterodactyl. Snatches it away from him. Fucking Leslie Nielsen with his deadpan delivery. Every time I laugh when he goes, we got to get these people to a hospital. A hospital? What is it? Well, it's a big building with a lot of patients, but that's not important right now. And they just go on. It's the fucking best shit.
I picked a bad week to stop sniffing glue, and then it cuts to him later, and his hair, he's like upside down, and his hair is just all fucked up.
It just elevates, or he's like, I
picked a bad week to stop it.
When the topless girl runs in front of the camera and shakes her boobs for no apparent reason.
Yeah, so watching this again was weird because I remember I taped this off the TV, and I'm really familiar with the TV edit. So watching the uncut edit again after years, there was shit in here I didn't remember, and some racy fucking shit like.
Some of the humor is really bad.
To the two little kids that meet, that are all like adults, but they're little kids. It's like, you want some cream in your coffee? She goes, I like my coffee black, like my men. I was like, oh fuck, I don't remember that line.
Well, right off the bat, I mean, they stick the kid in the cockpit, and he goes, "You ever seen a grown man?
Seen a grown man naked, Billy?"
Surely you can't be serious. I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
I mean, just cool. So, and it's funny you watch this week because I was thinking about this movie because I came across this article of this guy who was like, Airplane is a great movie. All the lines go through my head, but there's one line in the movie that sticks out now that kind of describes what's going on now. And it's the part where they cut to the television coverage of the crash, and there's like the tribal guy with the sticks, and he gets different sticks to hit a different thing. But then they get to the counterpoint session, and the guy goes, Shauna, they bought their tickets. They knew what they were getting into. I say let them crash. And he's like, that line is what we are going through right now in the fucking world, in the country. This nihilistic throwaway attitude for life, but it's so fucking funny. I mean,
there's so many, not even the lines, but even like the autopilot, and her like him having the girl having to give him reinflate him with the suggestive with the tube on his belt. And then when she's done, they cut back and they're both smoking.
Yes, they're smoking cigarettes. Like she gives them a look like that was great.
If you want to watch an R-rated kind of thing with the same guys, the Zucker brothers, I'm going to suggest the Kentucky Fried Movie. Now, people of Asian descent will probably find
this is
Fistful of Yen be really
this
offensive.
This is even more offensive and not PC than Airplane is.
It's way worse. But
I mean, I'll never stop laughing at that. Like, there's a hysterical woman and they're slapping her up, but then there's a line of people with weapons.
It gets worse and worse.
So
I mean,
good.
her thoughts. I mean, just there's so many goddamn things. I mean, when the guy first gets in the cockpit and he looks at all the dials, and it's just like a never-ending list of dials, and then he goes there, like he's like, there's eject, and then there's tumble, wash, dry.
There's spin cycle.
There's just so many like joke. I've only watched it once, but
dude, it's amazing.
I was watching a review and they're like, you need to watch this again because every time you watch it, you'll catch a new joke.
Like when they're checking the radar, and the guy in the background comes over and he opens the thing and pulls out his laundry out of one of the radar machines. When
shit hits the fan and they literally cut the shit being thrown at a fan.
I don't remember this. There's just a watermelon that falls from the sky. And then there's a condor on his shoulder at one point randomly. And I love the lady. She's like, Jim never vomits at home. And then for the longest time when I was a kid, I thought having a drinking problem just meant you couldn't find your mouth.
I have a drinking problem.
How clever is that? It didn't hit me till years later going, a drinking problem. I get it now.
Apparently, so I didn't know this because I've only seen him in like The Naked Gun, but this was Leslie Nielsen's first role in comedy.
Yeah, he was like
one of his first
roles.
A
black and white drama guy doing like TV and
this was, I guess, the start of those surreal movies like Scary Movie and all
parody.
that. But,
Naked Gun,
yeah. But I mean, this one's it's pretty funny. I have to give it credit. They're going for it. They're throwing a million jokes in every scene.
I mean, this is like one of my favorite movies as a kid. But
also to note, you see titties.
Yes.
This movie was rated PG.
That's wild. I did not.
PG meant, listen, G was what you took your kids to. PG was that.
So much.
And R-rated movies were basically almost porn.
Yes.
That is insane to me that you could walk in, bring your like 11-year-old into this, and they'd be watching this, and you'd be like, okay.
The infantilization of people right now is crazy. So.
And I know in your review you were like, maybe you should watch because it spoofs movies like 0 Hour and Airport.
I haven't seen those
but
movies,
I don't think you need to watch. I never saw any of those, and I thought this was the fucking funniest thing. That I like right in the beginning when the people on the voice of the airport about the white zone and the red zone, and they start fucking fighting, and he calls out personal things about her. I forgot what he said. It's like that's why she's like, that's why you told me to get an abortion. They're talking about an abortion, I think, over the loudspeaker over the white zone is for loading and unloading. You like
the best way to review this movie is literally just to rehash every joke you remember.
And it's so tense. It just keeps coming. Striker. He punches the girl. So good.
Now I'm just thinking of even the scene where he remembers back to like him meeting that stewardess or
at the bar,
the flight attendant, and the guy has a knife in his back, and he's like pointing to the knife, and she doesn't notice, so she's doing a dance move where she's pointing to her back. I mean, it's just so fucking absurd. And then there's like two Girl Scouts that are just fighting throughout the entire thing.
And every time they cut back when he's telling the story, the person has killed himself in different ways.
I mean, the lady hangs herself. Then the guy, the Japanese guy, stabs himself.
The other guy's about to light himself on fire.
The Indian guy's about to light himself on fire.
I was watching the match. It was burning down. I was like, oh boy. But it's so fucking funny. Oh my God.
It is really funny. Since we're on this topic, by the way, just real quick, since I did watch 48 Hours,
Yeah.
goddamn,
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy
Yeah.
in that is a star.
Yeah.
Too bad he's never gotten close to back to those 80s.
Beverly
heights.
Hills Cop is good too.
Yeah, no, I'm saying back in the 80s he was awesome.
Yeah.
But that's his first movie ever, 48 Hours, and he's his charisma is just overflowing
Yes,
off
just
the screen.
absolutely. My Name is Dolomite is a return to Eddie Murphy, man. He's amazing.
I mentioned in the review that I have to
it's
go
on
and watch
Netflix.
that.
It's amazing. But
Bowfinger's great.
But again, another like really, you see the 80s PC culture. Like they use the N word
it's-
a
I mean,
lot.
Nick Nolte uses the N word, also calls him watermelon throughout.
But he apologizes though.
He does apologize.
I'm sorry,
for it,
they
but he-
come
he
around.
calls him the N word, and Eddie Murphy's character just takes it. It's just like,
because
yeah,
it was
whatever.
normal as a people.
Whatever.
Yeah. Oh, it's wild. There's a lot of boobies in that one. 48 Hours is another great one. The sequel is pretty good. I can't remember if they did another 48 Hours.
Well, I watched both because they're both kind of like genre starters, and they're from the 80s.
Yeah.
But Airplane started the whole satire on making fun of movies. 48 Hours was apparently the first
Buddy cop movie. Yeah. Those and then we got Lost Boys, the first teen sexy vampire
And I
movie.
got Lost Boys.
It wasn't a sex cop. It was sexual.
It's a sex
homosexual.
It was sexier.
It was more about the boys loving each other, wanting to be together,
being a family.
They wanted to be lost together
young,
as boys.
young and immortal forever as boys.
Yeah,
but you get cool powers like flying, like Peter Pan. All right, let's do some news from the nation.
There's more show.
It's time for news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Yes, there's more show, Rugs. I got a lot of comments from our listeners. Lisa Morrison checking in
no.
on our Facebook group saying, listening to this week's podcast, and I've got to send a big screw you to Anthony for disagreeing with Imran about how good looking and smart your listeners are.
Nerd.
Other podcasts can only dream of having listeners as awesome as we are. You are absolutely right, Lisa Morrison, 100%. See, Anthony, what happens?
I'm not going to argue with this anymore.
It's fine.
Bro, do you even podcast?
Wes Cranford actually wrote an email. He hasn't written an email in a while. He says, "Hello, Jock and Nerd. Still enjoying your guys' podcast immensely. I want to mention to Anthony, or at least explain the reason the 80s was so good for movies, was because most of what was coming out was fresh and new, and no one had seen it before. Star Wars, Indiana Jones were groundbreaking. Blues Brothers, never seen anything like it. Same with Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller, Terminator, Beverly Hills Cop. These were all pretty exciting. I would recommend that you really should watch The Outsiders. It's in the same quality as Stand By Me. Now, I recognize that we were not PC and that a lot of these movies are offensive to the taste and sensibilities of people today. So I get that. I also understand that Imran and Ruggs are children of the 90s. We're children of the 80s. I don't know why he thinks we're 90s.
Well, because he's old.
We're not that young, unfortunately.
He's old, so when you're that old, you forget.
We are children of the 80s. But when you look at the movies that came out during the 80s decade, I think you'll be surprised by what you see and that you will recognize that nowadays, most of those movies are being copied. Maybe I'm wrong and blinded by my own memories. Ruggs will tell me, I'm sure you can argue originality in the 70s and 90s, but nowadays it seems originality and quality is in streaming, and film has become formulaic and blockbuster only. Yeah, Wes?
I agree with everything you say.
But I'm a child of the 80s, and that's why I love some of these years and all those.
Well, when you watch something when you're a kid,
yeah.
Number one, you have your sense of disbelief is pretty good. You're stupid enough to not care. It's ignorance is bliss. Once you've seen a lot of movies, you start to notice patterns. Like, oh, here comes the running scene where they run towards each other. Oh, we've seen that in everything. Yeah. Just things become formulaic. So when you watch something in your youth, you can see it with fresh eyes and you feel the originality. Like a lot of these kids that are growing up right now, they think that everything they're seeing is for the first time. They have no idea that there's a history of movies that are way better or that this is aping something else and trying to hit their demographic. It is sad that there's not as much originality, but what can you do?
I mean, the 90s had originality similar. We just went through 99, and those were all fucking original.
Speaking to the point of being a kid and not knowing things and it hitting differently, I can still say that as a kid, I loved Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So.
Yeah, and you still do?
Yep. And no, I don't. I realize now that was a really bad movie.
Some things hold up.
Yeah.
Like some things hold up, like Back to the Future.
Yes.
Other movies like that, and some don't.
Brady on Twitter at T_Brady94 had a comment based on our discussion about Zack Snyder and releasing the name and stuff of the Justice League at DC Fandom. He said, "Hey guys, I enjoyed the podcast episode, but just want to help clarify something. Yes, Zack Snyder did say that he might have to change the name title Zack Snyder's Justice League to a different title because of legal reasons. There's some type of legal restriction from it keeping to that specific title, but said he'll have it cleared up by the time DC Fandom comes. Also, I knew you guys kept saying that since he's in the black suit that he's dark, meaning Superman, but that's not the case at all, and it's his regeneration suit to help absorb sunlight because his body isn't fully recovered from being back from the dead. Also, if you see the video, it's pretty clear that Superman isn't dark nor brooding. In that scene, he's actually smiling. It's pretty obvious that he's going to go through a more helpful transition after he is reborn and figured out what to do next. Thanks again for the amazing content." He was smiling in that scene, so I guess that makes more sense.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so.
Regeneration suit and legal reasons. Joey Austin, we got some comments from the What the Fuck Happened Dark Knight Rises with Matt Delhauer. Joey Austin says, "Are there any movies that Delhauer actually likes?" Kidding. Love this episode.
I believe that he loved No Holds Barred.
And Blade Runner 2049. Jimmy Graben says, "Matt Delhauer's Ben Mendelsohn lisp impression put me on the floor. Yet another great installment of What the Fuck Happened." Joe Henry, love this episode. I'm pretty sure Imran doesn't remember, but my first letter to the show that was read on an episode, I requested The Dark Knight Rises in 2017. Great job, guys.
That's why we did it for you.
We finally did it 3 years later, Joe Henry. That's absolutely...
We've paid off you listening this long.
I do not remember, but he is right. That he did write it.
Joe Henry has vitiligo, Dave.
He
right?
does have vitiligo.
Oh, shit.
See, I have a good memory.
Yes, you do. We talked about this when he came on the show. He is my vitiligo brother from another mother. I can relate,
Cool.
Joe. John Bellotti.
See, some people pay attention.
Yes, some people are listening sometimes, motherfuckers. John Bellotti Jr., in response to What the Fuck Happened to Dark Knight Rises, simply commented, "Nothing happened to that movie. It's perfection."
Oh, shit.
I don't know if he's being sarcastic or serious. Do we know?
I don't know. He can be wrong some of the time. So,
Do we know?
yeah.
And then Chaz Hebert has a great question in terms of the What the Fuck Happened episode. He says, "I still remember The Dark Knight Rises fondly and have kind of purposefully not revisited it because I don't want to ruin it for myself now. Anybody else got movies they know don't hold up anymore but refuse to admit it?" That's a great question.
I responded on
Yes.
that.
What?
Did you see
Yes. What did you say?
Most any Godzilla movie.
Oh, shit. Oh, the Godzilla movies. Does it make it worse to go back and watch them again, or would you rather just remember it?
If I have to, like, the thing with Godzilla movies is, as a kid, I watched most, if not all, of those films. So to go back and watch them, I have to go in and watch them with a different mindset of not, like, I want to see monsters smash each other, but, I have to acknowledge that, like, when I reviewed Godzilla versus Dora, like, the editing is terrible. And, like, I just have to acknowledge these things and kind of grade them a little differently.
Yeah, but as a kid, man, it's the best fucking thing.
I will still always hold those very fondly.
It's rough when you go back and you go, "Oh, I love this movie as a kid," and you hope that it still holds up, and you're like, "Oh my god, like, I'm going to be so disappointed if it's really shitty." And I've loved this movie for such a long time.
Are there any movie you particularly would?
I don't avoid anything. I watch everything. So no,
but anything you know that don't hold up anymore, but you won't admit that it doesn't hold up.
I admit if they don't hold up. Everything's fucking.
What's the first movie you think of that you watched as a kid, besides Lost Boys, that you liked, and now you watched it again, you're like, God damn,
Woof.
I was a kid.
Oh, Jesus, fucking the one Over the Top.
Oh, the Sylvester Stallone wrestling movie.
Where they fucking arm wrestle?
Is that the arm wrestling? Yeah, the arm wrestling
That's
movie.
the move. That's the arm over the top is the move.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
And Commando?
Oh, God, that's not good.
Is that Arnold?
That's Arnold.
Yeah. Was that the one where he throws a pipe through someone?
Yeah, he goes stick around.
Yeah.
Isn't that one, or is that Predator? I don't remember.
Most Arnold movies don't hold up very
Or Stallone movies, Rambo. So the first thing I thought of when I read this, it wasn't a movie. It was a TV show. I used to love fucking MacGyver when it came out. And then I remember a few years ago,
is that bad?
I randomly watched it. It's so bad. I can't believe I thought that MacGyver was making these crazy, genius, clever things.
I thought that series was super clever.
No, it's not. It's not.
Oh.
It's so bad. I watched it again. I was like, woof. How did I think this was fucking good? We got some great comments from the listeners in the nation. Some of these I agree with. Some of this I don't. For example, Joe Henry, vitiligo dick. Joe Henry says, Tim Burton's first Batman. Love that movie as a kid. Refuse to watch it again because I don't want to ruin that memory. I love that movie as a kid. I still think it holds up. I will watch it again and I still love it.
I've watched it so many times.
Yeah, me too. I watched it over and over. It's a great movie. It's got holes, but it's a great movie. Blake Braden says too many to count. I'll pick 3. X-Men 1 and 2 and Spawn.
Oh, Spawn's terrible.
I remember, Anthony, you saying X-Men 2 does not hold up as much as I thought.
So I would agree. I think if you watch those X-Men movies, I think for the time they were really good. I don't think they hold up as well as you would think.
I think you may be right. I may have to watch that. And I kind of don't. So that one I'll put in there. I kind of don't want to watch X2 again because I love my memory of it.
X2 is considered a great movie. And if you watch it again, in my opinion, I don't think it holds up as well.
Spawn, I never thought was a good movie. So
no, it was never good. Now, this next movie, I will stick up for it until I'm dead.
Jose Ibarra says the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
I fucking love that movie.
I refuse to ruin it as an adult.
Watch it. It's great.
It came out in theaters the day before my 6th birthday, and that's where we had my party. Remember when theaters were a thing? Shit, remember when birthday parties were a thing?
Oh, shit.
That's a good movie because I also fondly remember that as a kid.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've watched that as an adult.
I think it would still, I think those animatronics still hold up.
I love it. I still love it.
I love it.
Is it a great movie? No, but it's still a good, it's not like painfully as bad as The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Or like The Raid, you know.
I think surprisingly those animatronics still kind of hold up. The way they did it. I guess Seth Rogen is rebooting TMNT for the movie.
How many times can you go back to
He's
TMNT?
like, this time I'm going to be different. I'm going to focus on the teenage part of it. That was his quote.
No.
Really? Is that really happening? Didn't they just reboot that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do it.
But they had Megan Fox in it, so that
and it had Rocksteady and Bebop. I mean, come on, live action Rocksteady and Bebop. No, I love that first movie. I even kind of like Vanilla Ice in the second one.
I kind of liked it. I mean, as a kid, I really liked the second one. I don't know. I think that one's probably terrible, but I liked the second one a lot as a kid.
William Salgado has a more recent movie. He says X-Men Dark Phoenix. I enjoyed it, not as much as I would have liked to, but I did. Don't want to see it again because I read and heard all the negative stuff about it, and I don't want to tarnish my love for X-Men. Fair enough.
Was that the movie that just came out?
With Sophie Turner as Jean Grey and
I wasn't a kid, so I didn't find it to be terrible, but just kind of bland.
Yeah, it's kind of forgettable on the first watch. Wes Cranford, who we just heard from email, he says, Better Off Dead, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but mostly all of the 80s teen comedies. See, I think Fast Times is still a fucking great watch. Better Off Dead with John Cusack is a weird movie. The 80s teen comedies, I could watch Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink. I'll watch all that shit. It's still good. It's still fun. They're not politically correct.
They're not as good as that I remember them to be, but they're still worth looking.
Yeah, I guess. Even Airplane, I will admit, was a little bit not as good as what I remembered because I was a kid.
Well, it's also tough, I would say, to defend you, your younger self. It's tough to go back to comedies and enjoy them as much as you did the first time.
Yeah, part of it's the surprise.
Right, part of it's the joke.
But I was still fucking crying when I watched Airplane again. Like I was crying.
Well, that's good.
Fucking hilarious.
It's tough though. Comedies are tough to revisit and enjoy every time, the same amount.
And then Jim McPike, our local historian, writes the exact opposite. Every few years, I watch Starship Troopers to keep the hatred fresh.
Oh shit!
I like Starship Troopers. It's a good.
It's fine. Yeah, it's a fine.
I don't think I liked Starship Troopers that much when we reviewed it. I don't think
that was on the Patreon.
Yeah, it's not the greatest. It's fine.
Cult classics.
Yeah,
some of them I like, some of them I don't.
Yeah, especially watching them now after all these years. But like
the Street Fighter. Yeah, when I watched that again,
Sonny
my
Chiba.
god. It's great.
Wait, so Anthony, let me ask you before you watched Airplane, did you hear anybody ever do like these lines or make reference to this movie before?
That's funny you say that. So there's a sports talk radio show that I listened to a lot as a kid, as a teenager, and then even a little bit as an adult. And they would always open up their show with, "You ever been in a cockpit before?" "No, I never been on a plane before." You ever seen a grown man naked? And then they'd start their fucking music.
You're like,
And I
what
was
is
going,
that?
This is such a strange way to start off a show. And that's what that was
That's
from.
what
So
it was from?
I finally figured that out.
Oh my God. And the Don't Call Me Shirley. People always fucking quote that shit.
Yeah, Don't Call Me Shirley. I've heard that before as well. The rest of that stuff, though, was pretty new humor.
All right,
for
good.
me.
I'm glad you've finally been indoctrinated into the airplane family.
It was on the list of 100 movies you need to watch before you kick the
Oh, it
bucket,
is on
so.
that 100 movies list. Wow. Check that one off. Nice. That's the show, everyone. Ruggs, where can the listener find you online?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at ReallyRugBoy.
Give him a
Come
follow.
by and say hello.
Make him feel special.
Follow me.
Ruggs needs it. Visit the show notes for this episode, jockandnerd.com/341 for links to everything, how you can support us, join our fan club, subscribe, get in touch, everything we talked about. But the only thing you got to do, listener, tell a friend, spread the show amongst all your geek compadres. Word of mouth really helps us out, gets people clicking and downloading. And if you enjoy it, tell a friend, share it. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
And he's the nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
I'm pumped.
Yeah, me too.
That's a big fuck up right there. I love this movie. Get the fuck out of here.